To keep up with the energy of talking about very unique isekais, I'd like to turn our attention towards Knights and Magic. This anime is among one of the isekais that stand out the most to me, and it's solely because of its main premise. It's what happens when you take an isekai and mix it with a mecha series. Our main character is Ernesty. In his previous life, he was a programmer who happened to have a massive obsession with mecha. He lived a fairly normal life in this new world until he found out that it has mechs. This realization lit a fire in his soul, and reincarnated his otaku nature as well. If you're someone that is overly bothered by pacing, chances are you won't like this anime. The starting episodes feel relatively fast, especially with how the first episode fast forwards a few years for Ernesty to join the higher classes in the Night Runner Academy. After this point, the series runs at a much slower pace, so it can be a very jarring viewing experience for some. The main draw to this series is Ernesty and how he works his magic with the Silhouette Knights. The way magic functions in this world is very interesting. It's described as working similar to programming, and because of that, Ernesty was practically born to be an expert. Throughout the series, you always see him ecstatic, filled with a sense of childlike wonder, because he's living his biggest dream. Ernesty's enthusiasm is very infectious, and because of that, you want to see him experience more. A large portion of this anime is about how much he wants to build his very own mech to pilot, and watching him as he moves up in the world is very admirable. With his obsession for mecha, his head is full of so many ideas about how this world could improve their Silhouette Knights, as well as various other contraptions that would offer people the means to build better things. You learn a lot of things about the magic in this world, like how it's used to power the Silhouette Knights, for example. It's honestly the most interesting form of magic I've seen in an anime, and seeing how Ernesty works with it is quite amazing. You can do virtually anything with magic because of how it works in this world. The only thing that really limits you, as far as I could see, is your own imagination. There is some narration to the series, but it's presented as if you're watching a history documentary. Combined with how the anime is handled, it can be seen as a refreshing way to give the viewer extra details while also casually easing you past a time skip. Since this ties in with the series pacing, it can be seen as detrimental. However, if that doesn't bother you, it offers a way to streamline some of the less interesting parts so it doesn't really impact overall enjoyment. This is the only isekai that I can say is actually wish fulfillment, because the entire point of the series is that the protagonist is living something that he's always wanted. It's meant to be a fun series, and that's a constant theme throughout the anime. Because of that, it's something that would be best enjoyed after watching something depressing. Ernesty is a great character to help lift up your spirits, and that's something that I can really appreciate. He reminds me a lot of Better Days when I was a kid. There's not a lot of anime out there that can reproduce that same feeling. The enemies in the series are a mixed bag for me. On one side, you have the demon beasts, and if you're a fan of kaiju fights, you'd probably feel right at home with this anime. On the other side, you have the human enemies. It's really cool to see people fight in Silhouette Knight battles, but I didn't really enjoy these all that much. These battles overall aren't bad, I just found the fights with the demon beasts to be much more interesting, at least until the last couple of fights in the season. But yeah, that's Knights and Magic. It might not be the most ambitious of isekais, but it is among one of the most unique. It was something that caught my eye when it was brand new because I've never seen a series put mechs in a medieval fantasy world. What made me continue watching it was just how great of a character Ernesty is. While a lot of isekai main characters enjoy the world that they're brought to, I've never quite seen someone enjoy their new life as much as him. If you want to have a great time, just watch this anime. It's a happy-go-lucky kind of show, and it's a good way to spend a couple of hours.